All right. So, I was telling the folks who were on early that Mayor Nicholson is going to be late, and he said to get going without him so we can get started. Lorraine, would you like to call the meeting to order?
All right, let's call this meeting to order. I never did this before, so.
You're a natural. That was all we needed. All right. So, and then I'll share my screen, and then we'll do a quick roll call. Right. So we know Mayor Nicholson's not here. Mr. Bennett,
Present.
Mr. Bertino,
Present.
Member Castellanos, Councilor Paez, Ms. Cohen,
Present.
Mr. Donovan, Ms. Drago,
Present.
Mr. Duffy. We'll come back to him. Member Gately,
Present.
Ms. Gerardo, Mr. Kolokides, Councilor LaPierre, Mr. Makua, Mr. Mannion,
Present.
Mr. Marlin,
Present.
Mayor McGee,
Present.
Councilor Meany, Ms. Miller,
Present.
Ms. Philbrook. We'll go back to her in a minute. Oh, no, actually, I didn't see her earlier. Mr. Ridley
Present.
and Ms. Fritz. So I saw Mr. Bennett earlier. Mr. Bennett, are you there? Oh, that's not who I was looking for. Mr. Duffy. Mr. Duffy, are you there?
Present.
Fantastic. All right. So we do have a quorum. Awesome. So tonight, another typical construction progress update. We've got some administrative actions we'll take care of since we do have a quorum. We'll go through the construction progress and then talk about upcoming schedules. I think the first item we can address is the minutes from the prior meeting. They were sent around in the packet. It's from May 13th.
Motion to accept.
Thank you, Rich.
Second. Second.
Thank you, Tom. We'll just do a voice vote. All in favor
Aye.
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 and opposed and abstentions. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. I don't think I saw Lynn Stapleton on. Lynn, are you out there? All right. So, in Lynn's absence, I'll just bring you through the financial update. So the project remains committed, budget-wise, remains committed at 96%. Of that money, we've spent 44%, which is in line with the construction progress, which based on the invoices, 42% complete. So everything's going as we would anticipate. Our projected, as we always say every month, our projected is way ahead of where we actually are because of that ground improvements extending the schedule. So we thought we would have 134, almost 135 million spent by now, but we are at 84.5 million. And that red line of actual spent continues to parallel the blue line of the anticipated. And so that's a good indicator that we are moving at the rate that we should be moving. All right. Any questions about any of that before we give you an update on the construction progress?
All good here.
Fantastic. All right. Brandon, are you out there?
I am.
Would you kindly take us through the photos? And I also have the video loaded on my computer if it's convenient to use that one.
Okay. Yeah. I'll start with the pictures here. So progress week ending 5/22. So we're talking now almost about a month ago. The photo on the left here is some asphalt that was installed along the north side of the building. So what will be a permanent roadway, right? A one-way direction from west to east out of the project site. This is serving two purposes for us. It's one, it's getting asphalt in early, which is there's a cost savings there the earlier you do it because cost of asphalt fluctuates. But it gives us a nice clean surface so that all the facade trades can really work efficiently, effectively, professionally on the outside of the building. So this is an area where it's permanent. Our team planned for a lot of the basically an apron around the entire building to provide this very clean working surface on all four sides. So that'll be it's partially in now and we'll be in shortly to really allow for that work to take place and make sure everyone can work professionally and really efficiently. The photo on the right here is showing what was the real start of our early walls. So as part of our MEP rough-in sequence, there's planning that goes into where do walls need to go in before MEPs, other areas MEPs are going to go in first, all based on where we landed with locations of ductwork and pipe and conduit and different things relative to ceiling height. So there's been a lot of game planning with all our trade partners, with the MEP subs and the drywaller, to make sure that we have a great plan and everyone can get in where they need in that kind of different pieces of the sandwich. Now, this is the following week, so the very last week of May. You see on the left the exterior framing from the south side of the building. So a lot of progress, obviously, on that level 2. You can see those windows taking shape there with the framing, and you start to see the infill of what's going to be, call it the parapet wall underneath the glass rail on the learning deck just above it. So a lot of exterior framing progressing here, and you'll see in the drone video even more when we get there. On the right is the concrete slabs. So I think the next, if you want to go to the next page as well, Craig, that was in the servery in the kitchen. On the right here, you see stair pans and landings. So right at the end of May, beginning of June, we tackled the last of our concrete slabs and the last of our concrete flatwork. So everything is placed from the slab on grade up through the roof. So we now have a full 5-story building plus a roof that we can work on all floors within the sequence that we have planned with trade. So huge milestone for us, for the entire project team to get. We already got steel behind us when everyone got to celebrate topping off, but even bigger is concrete, get those placements and the late nights behind us as well for the neighborhood. So that was a great milestone for us. On the left here, you see exterior framing. I believe it's actually the northwest corner, so closest to the school. Again, really starting to take shape, coming in and tackling everything we can. And you're going to see more and more sheathing go up and really start to see the skin of that building start to take place. This is a similar shot a week and a half later from essentially the same location. So now you see the west side of the building closest to the existing school is fully sheathed. And you can actually see a window. We did a first install mock-up, kind of work through the details and the sequences and the real fine nitty-gritty stuff with all the different trades involved to make sure that when we go and do a production install of all our windows, we're not going to have any issues. We are planning our first kind of in-house window test on that window to verify everything we did worked. You have to let the sealant cure for 14 days. So that's going to be happening very soon, right before the 4th of July holiday, to make sure that everything we did, not only does it look right and the architect's happy, but it functions the way it's supposed to and keeps the building dry. On the right here, you see a picture of ductwork starting to go in on the second floor. So that's just another part of that sandwich. You can kind of see that some of the areas where the tops, as we call it, the drywall has been installed all the way up to the underside of the slab. Because if you don't do it first, you'll never have the access to get it installed. Because as you can see, the ductwork is really tight to the underside of structure. So again, a lot of overhead rough-in happening last week, the week before, and we're going to really start and see more and more deliveries come for all the pipe, conduit, ductwork for the job.
All right, so now I will shrink this down and pull up the video.
So the video we have tonight was shot on, I believe, June 9th. Yes. So even if anyone's driven by it, there's some areas that already look different, right? Within a week worth of work. But starting on the west side, you really see that facade framing progressing from bottom up, we'll call it, from 2, 3, 4 to 5. Sheathing going on. And then we're really attacking that learning deck area. We want to get on that learning deck. As you can see, that's almost completely sheathed here. It's now completely sheathed a week later, because we want to get all our stuff done on that roof to give us the time to do everything to build that out with the roofing system and the pavers and pedestals and things. So That's one of our early attack points to make sure we can get off of that with the facade trades. You can see the general notion that we have is we're working from that west side counterclockwise and clockwise kind of simultaneously right now. We're having a lot of luck with TJ McCartney, the drywaller, being very efficient and having the right people on the site. So we're taking advantage of that while we can. As we pan around the east side, you see some of that asphalt we put in that we highlighted earlier. That will be the north road of the building. And you can still see the tarp from the fireproofer. This is a week ago. The fireproofer has completed all their work on the 5th floor. They're now working down in the double height spaces of the gym and the cafeteria from the slab on grade. So levels, like I said, level 2, 3, 4, and 5 all have some semblance of wall layout, MEP install, rough in as it progresses as you further. It's further along on level 2 and kind of starting on some of the upper floors. Another great milestone we hit today, or earlier this week, sorry, that's not on this video. We actually started with the roofing install. So on this main high roof, we were able to install the AVB on about a third of it so far. That's our big step to getting us to a semblance of watertight. That with the then windows to follow and the AVB on the exterior facade gets us to another basically the next key milestone of watertight, which allows for a lot of other MEP install to happen inside, especially electrical wire being pulled, and then it's going to allow us to start drywall. So that's our next big key milestone you'll hear me talk about over the next 2 months ish, of 2 to 3 months, getting to that date. So the big push on our end is obviously the rough in inside, but a lot of focus on facade to get us weather tight ahead of the fall. Unfortunately, we're already thinking of winter, even though it's June, but that's what construction does to you. So whatever we can get done before it gets cold again on us. So are there any questions from anyone on schedule, what's been completed, kind of what's next? I see Lorraine's hand.
Lorraine, you're muted.
In that picture that you were just showing us, could you show me where the doors are for children to get out on a fire drill? Into that cistern area? Yeah, right there. Where are the doors?
So right where that mouse is where one door is on the north side.
Okay.
And then Craig, yeah, if you go backwards. Perfect.
Doing a beautiful job. I just want to make sure they're there. I'm worried about
Yes.
them.
Right where that tarp is hanging and where the mouse is another exit
Okay.
on the east side of the building. And then if we keep going, there's obviously the main entrance on the south side of the building.
Okay.
And there's actually another exit. There's multiple on this south elevation, I'll say. The main entrance and then a couple other smaller ones that you can get in and out. So yeah, those exits and entryways are starting to take shape, and you'll get a better picture for them soon.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or requests to sort of jump around the video, review anything Brandon just described to us? All right. And I do see some additional folks have joined. Thank you. I've logged your names on our tracker, so you'll be in the mini minutes. But I do have a question about somebody is joined from iPhone. Is that a committee member?
That's me, Peter Kolokithis. I was having computer problems, so I ended up joining with my cell phone.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining, and we'll mark you down as here as well.
Thank you.
All right. We'll shrink that down. I know what I got to do. I got to push that button. Okay. So as far as upcoming activity, this is sort of like a little bit of looking back and looking forward. So as Brandon was mentioning, concrete slabs are done. Huge milestone. Interior masonry, which we reported on last month, began back in May. And then as that has progressed, they're now working on stair towers and locker rooms down on the first floor, making great progress on the interior masonry. Exterior framing and sheathing, you saw that all moving along very nicely since our last meeting. Interior framing, as of when I put this slide together a couple days ago, the work was started on the second floor, had moved up through the building, and layout, the marking of where the walls go was complete at that time, was complete up through the fourth floor, and has even moved up to the fifth floor since then. Spray fireproofing, as Brandon mentioned, is basically complete. Roof drains has been progressing on the interior of the building, and then the next kind of big push is a lot of plumbing, sprinklers, electrical, and HVAC. And I can't remember if Brandon mentioned this, but what they're doing is they're kind of following the framer. So as the framer moves up the building, then the MEP trades are following. Here we are at the red line in June 2026, just making our way along this main school construction period. Our next meetings, our upcoming meetings are July 15th, another regular meeting, and August 12th. If someone has vacation plans, we would respectfully request that you just send me an email. I think some of you have already started doing that, which is great. That allows us to kind of forecast if we'll have a quorum or not, and if anything needs to be adjusted. Another thing that we want to mention having to do with meetings is that there was a meeting scheduled with the abutters, the people who live directly next to the school on the north and east sides. We were going to present to them the plantings that are going on the school property, but like up against their property lines. And through the process of coordinating that and reviewing the details between Leftfield, Consigli, RDA, and their landscape architect Traverse, we noticed that the group noticed there was a challenging condition along the eastern property line, which was actually the sheet pilings which were installed, probably almost 2 years ago. And it created kind of an awkward situation. And so the design team needed a little more time to address that. So we thought it was best to move that abutter meeting so that when we present to them, we can present this is what we think is the best solution. And then once we decided to move it, we said, well, we got to give them plenty of advance notice. And so we're now looking to schedule that in July. So the exact date's being coordinated, but we just wanted to give the committee an update that instead of happening tomorrow, it's going to happen sometime in July. Lynn Tech Institute engagement. There was the carpentry shop made their second visit to the site. So they originally came out when foundations were being formed and got to see that aspect of carpentry. And so now they got to see the interior and exterior framing as it was happening. So this was back on May 15th. Everything I've heard is that it was another very successful event hosted by Consigli. They're getting quite good at that. Another thing that I think we talked about last month is that as also part of this student engagement, Consigli has offered another summer internship. There were 4 recent graduates, folks who had just graduated a couple weeks ago. They were interviewed by Consigli, and through that process, one was selected, and that's Rafael Ortiz. And so we've seen him on site. He's started to come to meetings and is getting, I'm sure, a great experience in this summer internship.
Right.
All right. Does anyone have questions either about what we've talked about or kind of anything that's on your minds?
Craig, just wondering if we're following up, trying to get our money back from the tariffs, the $1 million from the federal government. Is that going forward?
It's been a while, so I'm a little rusty on the details of it. So Brandon, I remember at one point we talked about that Consigli was sort of keeping your collective ears to the ground to hear how things are going on other projects. Any changes or any insights?
So as things have developed, what we found out is the tariffs that we had to pay for structural steel were enacted under Section 232. So that was the means that the current administration used to apply the 50% tariff to Canada. That, unfortunately, is not the group of IEEP tariffs, I believe, that were lifted by the Supreme Court ruling. So the tariffs we paid are still active, are still in effect, and people are still paying. That being said, in the team's due diligence and making sure we're going to have enough money, we were able to come within the value. So we didn't end up having to use any more money than what we carried, which was great. But unfortunately, there's no avenue for us to go get it because those tariffs are still active.
All right, Brendan, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Lauren?
Craig, probably an easier question. I just saw your note about the new Zoom link for tonight, and I was just wondering for the events, the July and August events, is the Zoom link going to be changing for those, or is the one that we have going to be the correct link for those meetings?
The one that you have now is the correct link. What had happened is prior to Left Field being merged with Cumming Group, everyone in Left Field had one Zoom account with a certain email, our old email address. Well, once we became part of Cumming Group and then that IT merger happened, we no longer Zoom no longer recognized us as those same people, even though our email addresses only changed slightly. So we were forced to reissue or recreate any meetings that had been originally created prior to that merger. So I think tonight was the last one that we had where there's this awkward situation of an old link floating around out there, potentially on people's calendars. Yeah, I'm like 80 to 90% sure that next month I won't have to put that little note at the bottom of the email. It'll just be everyone's got one link and that's the one we'll use.
Okay, great. Thanks for clarifying.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking the question. It helps sort of get that out there. Anything else? All right, then we'll just put this up as our typical plug for folks watching this video after the fact. We've got our project website, which has all kinds of updates on there. And then there's also a YouTube channel where this video, other videos, and the drone videos that Consigli provides are being posted for the general public.
Thank
And that's
you.
all we had.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Everybody have a great
All in
250th.
favor? Yeah.
Have a
Enjoy.
great.
Happy 250th. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
We're gonna
Bye.
Thank you all.